When I was in undergrad, my major was psychology. I also minored in gender and in history. And I really enjoyed the gender minor. I think it brought a lot to me that the other courses weren't bringing to me. It kind of strayed away from that androcentric, Eurocentric bias that I didn't quite like in the other courses, and so that's why I ultimately choose to do my master's in gender studies. And I was also, growing up in the Muslim community, I was also always very interested in the ways in which gender intersects with Islam in the Caribbean context, and I think that this was really the only department that I could have explored that research with the level of nuance that I wanted to. Personally, I think it's done a lot for me. It's allowed me to kind of examine like my position in masculinities, and growing up I've always been kind of subjected to ideas and ideologies of masculinity that I had to somehow conform to, and from a very young age I just knew that I didn't really fit in, but I never had the language or the vocabulary to really understand why that was. And so coming into this degree and learning about masculinity as something that is constructed and that is enforced upon people like myself, it really allowed me to kind of empower myself and understand that I'm more than just what the world expects me to be or wants me to be. I actually work with the department this semester. I was a student assistant. I was also a tutor. I got to work with students. I've been working with students even before with the IGDS Ignite group, the mentorship group, and we had a project called Catcalls of UWI. So it's done a lot for me in terms of breaking me out of just the academic realm and actually going into a practical space where I could sort of exercise the things that I've learned in the courses outside into the real world and sort of bridge that gap. I'm very interested in research. I'm interested in activism. I'm also interested in writing, fiction and nonfiction. That's something that I'm kind of dabbling in, and I think that this degree is really giving me the vocabulary, the tools, the skill set that I need to navigate those spaces and to be able to accomplish those things. I think right now we are all in a climate where we're concerned with social justice, we're concerned with race and gender, and I don't know that people in Trinidad have a really in-depth understanding of our history, and not just our history but the ways in which our identities and the ways in which that we are implicated in the systems that govern us today is rooted in our history and is rooted in our institutions. So I think that this degree would offer people a very critical and necessary perspective that they need to better be able to understand the world and the context that we live in, especially here in Trinidad and in the region as a whole.